My comparison would be 1938. This is 1938, but Czechoslovakia has chosen to fight.
So Hitler bluffed on Czechoslovakia. The Czechs had a very powerful military compared to the Germans actually at the time, but they were afraid. They gave in to the bluff, and Germany took Czechoslovakia, taking all of the weaponry, all of the planes, out of the army, and all of the factories. The thing is, it was fear that worked like that. It worked more efficiently than any tank or any bullet could. It was fear. This is also what Putin is using. With this, I agree with Timothy.
Czechoslovakia has chosen to fight. So you have an imperfect democracy. It's the furthest democracy east in Europe. It's not perfect. It has various problems. But when threatened by a larger neighbor, it chooses to resist. In that world, where Czechoslovakia resists, there's no Second World War. The Czechs had a good army. They could have held the Germans back. It was largely a bluff on the German side. If the Czechs resist, then the French and the British and maybe the Americans eventually start to help. There would have been a conflict, but there wouldn't have been a Second World War.
Yes, for most of the people in the Western world, this is good news. But for me, as an Estonian, I have a completely different viewpoint because, yeah, there's no Second World War. There's no Blitz on London, possibly. Good. Hooray. But Estonia would still be occupied by the Soviet Union. Finland would still have their winter war. And possibly they would lose it even worse than they did because then Germany wouldn't have attacked Soviet Union. So Stalin would have forwarded all their forces to Finland. Latvia, Lithuania occupied Poland, taken by Soviet Union. So Timothy Snyder, I cannot agree with you here. Yes, there will not be a world war. There will be a conflict. But this conflict for me means the loss of my country. So if the Czechoslovakia would have fought back, wouldn't have changed anything for Estonia. That opportunity was already left by the Western powers.
When Germany invaded Poland in 1939, it was invading Poland with the Czech armaments industry, which was the best in the world. It was invading with Slovak soldiers. It was invading from a geographical position that it only gained because it destroyed Czechoslovakia. So if Ukrainians give up, or if we give up Ukraine, then it's a different Russia making war in the future. It's a Russia making war with Ukrainian technology, Ukrainian soldiers.
I would say now Russia, Ukraine combined army, if they would be in war, one army, I think that would be one of the best armies in the world. I would call it better than China, maybe rivaling the US on the land, not definitely in the air and not on the sea, but just infantry. Their army is... Russia and Ukraine are right now their armies are the most experienced armies in warfare right now. China fought their last real war 40 years ago. The United States pulled out of Afghanistan. They of course are always fighting somewhere, but not with 1 million men like Ukraine is and like Russia is soon to be. So this would be a very, very big problem for all the powers, the most powerful powers in the world, the Western powers, if Russia would take Ukraine. Because they would not only take the land, they would take so much more. And we're not even talking about the resources in the land in Ukraine. Ukraine, coincidentally, is incredibly rich in resources. So it's not only about the army and the drones and the tanks and the capabilities. There's so much more.
From a different